to be a part of enriching their lives, enriching your lives. And it's just been an incredible experience being a part of this city, being a part of everything you all have going on here. Every business, everybody has been so fantastic to us, and I just really appreciate all of you for being here. It's an incredible place, and honestly, we love people, so thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Take a photo.
Get together for a quick photo, Mr. Marino. Get in there. Another round of applause for the Marino Foundation, everybody. One more stop on our voyage of gratitude. All right, Mayor, I feel like we're halfway across our voyage. We got a couple more ports.
We're halfway there, and this one is a lot of fun, Aaron. You're going to like this next one very, very much. Does anybody love, and have you been to, the new Putt Shack in Dania Point? We have the new Lululemon. We have a lot of new stores coming up in Dania Point. But Dania Point is more than just the most iconic new entertainment center. Every city needs a harbor where commerce, culture, and community converge. And that place is the heart in the city, and what it represents is our strategic plan where we got together and we said we want Dania Beach to become a destination city. And Dania Point embodies everything about what makes people come from all over the world to that iconic destination. Dania Point welcomes over 7 million visitors each year, drawing residents and travelers alike to this premier shopping and dining, entertainment, and hospitality mecca. Our partnership with Dania Point is more than just commerce. They have been such a phenomenal partner to the city of Dania Beach since its very
Foreign Trade Zone 25 allows companies to defer or eliminate customs duties, improve cash flow, quality. Foreign Trade Zone 25 allows companies to defer or eliminate customs duties, improve cash flow, quality control, and reduce customs delays for products imported and exported through Broward County, Florida.
Our Dania Beach location is important because it acts as a central parts depot to over 23 Caribbean islands. It allows us to reduce or minimize lead times to these islands, which is important to ensure that customers within the islands are able to have their vehicles serviced as quickly as possible.
FTZ 25 designated businesses can operate anywhere in Broward County, allowing flexibility to grow. After 20 plus years in FTZ 25, Toyota Tsusho was able to move from the user model to operator model.
We have an LRTC team, legal, regulatory, trade compliance team, that's able to handle much of the work, and it allows us to accelerate the processing of documents.
Okay, TikTok. Good evening, everyone. This is the City of Dania Beach CRA meeting, and it is now 6 o'clock on March the 10th. I call this meeting to order. City Clerk, if you would please call the roll.
Chair Davis.
Here.
Vice Chair Salvino.
Here.
Board Member Llewellyn.
She's not here.
I'm here. Here.
Go ahead. She said here.
Oh, Board Member Romali.
Here.
Board Member Ryan.
Here.
City Attorney Bootsas.
Here.
Executive Director Sosa Cruz.
Here.
Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you.
Good test CRA meeting.
Technology.
Okay. Network.
Whoa.
Oh, we can hear you.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Okay, I think we're good now. Okay. Next, we have the citizens' comments. Do I have any citizens that would like to come up and speak during the meeting? Anybody? Okay, we will move on to item 3, our administrative reports. Executive Director Sosa Cruz.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, Vice Chair, board members, CRA team, and residents. My name is Candido Sosa Cruz. I'm the Executive Director. I want to start off by saying that I'm extremely proud of our new hires, Emily Adams and Javaka Young-Smith. They've really hit the ground running. They're working very, very hard. Emily is coordinating everything, making sure bills are paid, answering the phone, returning emails. Definitely seems like she's been there already years, and it's only been a month or two. Javaka definitely has hit the ground running. She's out there in the field meeting businesses. I'm sure several of you have seen her out there already. So I want that leads me to the CRA initiatives, economic development and grants. The CRA has partnered with the Dania Beach Chamber of Commerce and secured a booth for the Jumbo Chamber Expo. This event is Wednesday, April 29th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's the largest expo of the year. It combines 5 different Chamber of Commerces. The North Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce will be participating, Aventura Marketing Council, Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, and Hallandale Beach Chamber, along with our Dania Beach Chamber of Commerce. So again, our CRA will be well represented. Yavaka will be there representing the Dania Beach CRA. She's also been visiting businesses along Dania Beach Boulevard. She's been introducing herself, building relationships throughout the small business community, up Federal Highway, as well as Dania Beach Boulevard. She's been welcoming new retailers such as Benjamin Moore, and she's been introducing herself to Sherwin-Williams, trying to work out some type of paint grant program where small businesses can take advantage. She's also been conducting corridor walkthroughs, and she's been helping out promote Ignite Broward the last couple of weeks when the event was taking place here in our city. She was going out to the restaurants, to the hotels, letting them know about this wonderful event that's happening here in our city to see how they could participate in supporting it. She's also created a downtown storefront vacancy inventory to support business recruitment, understanding the current vacancies, the size of the vacancies, who the realtors are, so when she does get calls, she knows how to direct them and what properties are available. She's also researched funding opportunities such as the Lowe's Hometown Heroes Grant, in which Lowe's created this grant to support small businesses. The CRA completed this grant application, and hopefully we're keeping our fingers crossed to see if we're able to be awarded so we could distribute it to the small businesses in the CRA. The CRA has also been in communications with 66 Productions to support the Hamburger House Party event at Mad Arts. This event will be occurring Saturday, May 2nd from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. This event originated in Miami-Dade County last year, and it's the first time moving to Broward County. It's a competition amongst restaurants to see who has the best hamburger. So far, 12 restaurants are participating. So again, this will be Saturday, May 2nd from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Mad Arts. The CRA will be supporting it. We'll be helping with social media and marketing efforts. When it comes to housing and home programs, Rebuilding Together, again, as you know, we started the new contract. I have some new numbers that are not in the report. There are eight homes already on the waiting list to be completed. They're trying to identify neighborhoods which will have a greater impact, all in close proximity. And there's 39 homes already with the Safe at Home program. 5 are under construction and 6 are being vetted. So I'm happy to say that that program is moving along successfully. When it comes to the patch continues to expand its network and its relationships with nonprofits, with businesses. This past month, we've had 38 new walk-ins and 136 new volunteers volunteer at the patch. The volunteers come from many different businesses, nonprofits, the C.W. Thomas After School Program. So it's being very successful. This past month, in February, we had the Valentine's Day Tour and Taste. We also had the Collins Elementary Day of Service, along with our weekly farmers market. This past month, also our harvest, we have 445 pounds of produce that includes green beans, mustard, dill, tomatoes, collards, bok choy, arugula, strawberries, zucchini, and broccoli. And as in previous months, any produce that was left over, we donated to the seniors at the Saratoga Crossing, which is an affordable housing development. Upcoming Saturday events for March are March 14, Herbs and Taste and Garden Tour. The CRA will be participating at the March 14th Wine and Seafood Festival. The patch will have a booth. It will be marketing the patch and its programs at the Wine and Seafood Festival. And on March 28th, we'll have the free medicinal plant workshop at the patch. Additionally, currently we're working on a drainage improvement at the patch. As you know, previous years we've worked on raising the flower beds and adding mulch to be able to mitigate flooding We're actually now improving it, taking it a step further, working with our Public Services Department, working with Sam's Landscape, working with Fruit for Field. We've been able to identify 7 different drainage drains at the actual patch, and we're working it where the water will flow into the drain, and it actually has an outfall where the water could go to. So we're doing that before hurricane season starts to try to mitigate any potential flooding. As far as upcoming events and meetings, as you know, this Thursday, March 12th, we're having the RMA workshop. It's from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., in which we're going to review the CRA operations and discuss corridor revitalization strategies. On April 25th, we're having our United Way Broward Mayor's Gala, in which this year's theme will focus on safe, reliable housing access. And on June 5th, we're having the Port Everglades Association Economic Engine Report, which will discuss the annual business briefing of the seaport. I'm also happy to see one of our former CRA employees here in the audience, Crystal Permanent, which she'll be doing a presentation. We've invited her to do a presentation on the foreign trade zone number 25. Crystal, as you know, works for Port Everglades, and she is an expert in this area, and I'm looking forward to her presentation. Thank you, Chair, and that concludes the admin report.
Thank you so much, Director Sosa Cruz. I am equally excited, if not more excited, for our next presentation from Crystal. It is item 4.1. It is the Foreign Trade Zone number 25. And I did have the pleasure of hearing this presentation through the Broward League of Cities, and so I'm so excited for you to bring it directly to the city of Dania Beach because we have some great opportunities. So come on up, Crystal, and let us hear your presentation. Hold on. There you go.
Good afternoon, Chair, board members. Again, I'm reintroducing myself as Crystal Permanent, Foreign Trade Zone 25, Senior Business Manager for Port Everglades. The last time I was here, board member Ryan referred to it as home away from home. So I just want to say thank you for having me back. And although today I return with a new title and a new program, the goal is still the same, and that is to directly support businesses here in Broward County, but specifically because I'm in your home, the businesses here at Dania Beach. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start the presentation. So what are foreign trade zones? If we zoom out for national statistics, it's over 200 foreign trade zones currently in the United States, which supports over 1,300 active businesses, results in over 550,000 jobs, and equates to nearly 1 billion in annual shipments. But what does that mean for us locally? Currently, Foreign Trade Zone 25, we support 19 companies. The national average is roughly 6. Foreign Trade Zone 25 is the 7th largest in the foreign trade zone in the U.S. for exports, supporting 4.3 billion in imports and exports, which is about 8.6 billion total in imports and exports, which directly results in 318 direct jobs. There's a joke, how do you spell FTZ? And the joke is J-O-B, because that is what foreign trade zones were, the basis of why it was established as an act of Congress. It's a way of having businesses stay here locally instead of having to take it internationally. So is a foreign trade zone right for me? The questions are, does your company import or export goods? Is your company paying custom duties? And are those duties approximately $25,000 or more? Initially, when that threshold was established, $25,000 was, you can say, a big deal, but that number is actually laughable now. We have some companies that we're working with. One shipment alone, they're paying 6 figures in duties if you look at what's going on with the tariffs right now. So it definitely is a need. So for how does FTZs operate? It is a way to help companies reduce costs and defer costs and eliminating those customs duties on imported goods. As the presentation advances, you will see the various cities throughout Broward County that are currently supporting this by having their businesses participate in the program. The key takeaway of the map is to make the general public understand that before 2018, you had to be located at Port Everglades to be a participant in Foreign Trade Zone 25. We are under the alternate site framework after 2018, which means that as so long as your business is located within the service area of Broward County, you can be designated a foreign trade zone. So the designation comes to you. So as we work through the map of Broward County, we see certain cities that are currently having different industries. And as I advance and I quickly get to Dania Beach, it's a good one because the two current companies that we have under FTZ 25 are Total Marine Solutions and Toyota Tsusho America. These are big deal, guys, because this is two industries that are key target industries for Broward County, one of which is the marine industry and the other one which is automobile. So I could tell you all day how happy these businesses are to be a part of a foreign trade zone, or I can just have them tell you themselves.
Foreign Trade Zone 25 allows companies to defer or eliminate customs duties, improve cash flow, quality control, and reduce customs delays for products imported and exported through Broward County, Florida.
Our Dania Beach location is important because it acts as a Central Parks depot to over 23 Caribbean islands. It allows us to minimize lead times to these islands, which is important to ensure that customers within the islands are able to have their vehicles serviced as quickly as possible.
FTZ 25 designated businesses can operate anywhere in Broward County, allowing flexibility to grow. After 20 plus years in FTZ 25, Toyota Tsusho was able to move from the user model to operator model.
We have an LRTC team, legal, regulatory, trade compliance team, that's able to handle much of the work, and it allows us to accelerate the processing of documents and allows us to ship to our customers as quickly as possible.
So the takeaway that I want you to capture from that video is that Toyota parts that are going into Latin America and the Caribbean are coming from a warehouse in Dania Beach, Florida. Guys, that's huge. That means that they are able to stay competitive in the market. They're able to service their customers, make their customers' needs. Their supply chain is better supported because of their strategic location in Dania Beach. In my previous role, when I worked as a business manager for City of Dania Beach, I would say we gotta really tap into our proximity of Port Everglades and how we can leverage that. So I'm coming to you from the other side of the house now to say that companies are choosing Dania Beach because of this proximity. So there is a real gem there that we really want to capitalize on. And the second
We've seen a significant increase in import costs over the last couple of years. We're projecting in the next year savings of over $500,000.
FTZ 25 designated businesses can operate anywhere in Broward County, allowing flexibility to grow. And the FTZ 25 staff are there to perform hands-on service.
There's a lot of questions we're going to have throughout the process. We know that FTZ 25 is going to be able to help us to navigate through those and make sure we don't make any kind of mistakes. There's no reason to pay those import fees. I think it's a no-brainer to work with FTZ 25.
All right, so in the beginning of the video, he's saying that last year when he ran his numbers, he was paying upwards to about $500,000 in duties. And now because of the designation, that's savings that he can now put into the business. So when you look at that, that's more cash flow savings for the business. So they're able to stay more competitive. So what really is a foreign trade zone? Let's break it down. Any item that's coming in from the domestic market or imported market into a foreign trade zone never has to pay any duties. So you may be wondering, what is a foreign trade zone? Think about a medical company that's bringing in medical equipment or medical supplies that may have to be refrigerated. A foreign trade zone could be a refrigerator. It could be a warehouse. It could be any designated space. So you may look at a full company that will be designated through the Foreign Trade Zone Board, and we work with U.S. Customs and Border Protection to come to the site and activate a space. So anything that's coming within that space never has to pay any customs duties. So you're probably wondering, well, what about a bonded warehouse? Well, bonded warehouses are great, but there are limitations. Items have to be cleared out after 5 years. Additionally, you cannot commingle, and you are still responsible for certain payments of scrapped items. So if you really think about some of the industries, we're losing a lot of trade and industry knowledge. So some items may be coming in defective or broken. You still have to pay duties on that. In a foreign trade zone, there's a process that we work with customs. They witness the scrapping of the product, and it's as if it never entered. Again, that's more cash flow savings for your business. We witnessed the scrapping of the material, and it's as if it never entered the country. Domestic items coming in with imported items for later re-export can commingle. Furthermore, let's just say that we had a company that recently deactivated because he's been with us since the beginning, and he got ready to retire. There was some merchandise that was sitting there that was very old, and it had expired, and now he was facing the possibility of probably having to pay the duties on it now, but not, because he was in a foreign trade zone. So we showed up with CBP, and we were able to witness the scrapping of it, so as if it never entered the United States. So again, more cash flow saving. So once a product leaves a foreign trade zone and it's re-exported, it's as if it never entered the U.S. commerce. The only time that you would pay duties is when it enters a U.S. commerce. So that is the second benefit of a foreign trade zone. So the first one is duty exemption, which means that it flows through the foreign trade zone, never having to pay duties. The next one is duty deferral. You may have a business approaching and saying, well, my products eventually make it into the U.S. commerce. Well, then you get to piecemeal it and pay it at that time. Imagine a large shipment showing up at the port and they're paying all these duties up front. We're talking sometimes, in that case, hundreds of thousands of dollars in duties. They don't have to pay it. It can come into their warehouse, and then as it makes it into the U.S. commerce, that's when they piecemeal it, the payments, or if it's immediately exported. Again, our proximity being Dania Beach, our market is really Latin America and the Caribbean. They never have to pay the duties on that. So when we did our market study of Dania Beach, we found that through the Business Tax Office of Broward County, there were 1,056 registered Broward County tax collector businesses that's registered at Dania Beach. From those companies, we found that 53 of them are companies categorized as wholesale distributors. From that data, we found that 7 of them are categorized as importer and export. Outside of the Broward County Business Tax Office, there's another resource tool that we use, and we found that Dania Beach companies are moving, about 89 of those companies are moving merchandise through South Florida ports. So that is Miami, West Palm, and Port Everglades. So that means that you have businesses here that can truly benefit from foreign trade zone designation. And that's why I'm here today, because I have been mandated to get the educational campaign running to let people know. It's been around since 1976. The problem is the lack of awareness. So we are really reaching out to our cities to let them know, as you're doing outreach with your businesses, consider this another tool in your toolkit. Again, it may not speak directly to the businesses within our CRA district, but the companies that are doing import and export and they're really challenged by duties, what's gonna happen is that a lot of times, as an economic development professional, a lot of times when a company comes and says, hey, my business is shutting down, or I'm downsizing, or I'm moving to another city, or whatever the case is, it's too late. It's too late for us to save the business. And a company may have to face this because of the tariffs and the duties that they're paying. So that means that by the time they approach you, they've already let staff go. So we're losing jobs, we're losing the market. But if we can get in front of this and say, hey, I've identified through my data research or my outreach that you are doing import and export, so really that warehousing district area, and I see that you're doing import and export and you are paying duties, contact FTZ. There's nothing your team needs to do here. They recognize the opportunity, they make the referral, they turn them over to us, and we take it from there. And every step, and it's a lot of work, because we are working hand in hand with CBP and the Foreign Trade Zone Board in Washington, D.C. The company does not have to be burdened with that. We are overseeing it. There is a portion that is the responsibility of the business, and we will guide them through that process. Now, if you notice, the backdrop of this slide has yachts. Why is yachts relevant to this? So we talked about how this is Dania Beach, by the way. So we talked about how a foreign trade zone could be a refrigerator, it could be a shelf. Did you know that marinas and boat slips are warehouses for yachts? So there's actually a lot of marinas that are currently in a foreign trade zone. So currently, a few of your marinas are actually foreign trade zone designated, but not all of them. So don't limit yourself to just the warehousing district, but also look at your marinas and let them know that, especially one of the biggest economic development driver that we have in the county is the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show. And as these boats are coming in, they have to pay, you have to get the boat bonds. It's very expensive for them to come in. But so long as they are parked in a foreign trade zone boat slip, they don't have to pay any duties. And the advantage of that is they can now use those boat slips for sea trials and showings. You cannot do retail trade in a foreign trade zone, so a lot of times, oftentimes they have to go to Bimini to close the sale of the yacht, but so long as they're there, they are doing no duties. And I will say that during something that we never predicted, like a pandemic, the marinas did extremely well, because think about it, you were not able to sail into the Caribbean and during that time, right? There was a huge lockdown, so they were charging monthly rates to keep boats there. So our marine industry did the ones with foreign trade zone designations did extremely well during something as devastating to other industries during something that we could never predict in our lifetime. So bring it to come full circle. As your economic development team is out there and they're conducting research with your area businesses, these are the simple questions that you're asking. Does your company import or export goods? Are they paying custom duties? Are those duties approximately $25,000 or more? Well, you are going to be considered an FTZ ambassador. It's an honorary ambassadorship program, and what we're basically asking is all our economic development professionals from our cities to identify the opportunity and make the referral. This equals jobs, it equals investment in your area, and it really helps the company to stay globally competitive. And here's our contact information. The direct way to set up a meeting with our team is ftz25@broward.org. You just send a very simple email saying that you're interested in designation because you fit the 3-question criteria, and we will set up a Teams meeting for you and explain the full process. It is extremely overwhelming for a company that does not know. And I will say that there are other foreign trade zones, but the reason that our foreign trade zone is different is because we actually come with a full team. So there's always someone on the other side dedicated to answering all your questions. And in closing, I would like to say that on February 3rd, something major happened for Foreign Trade Zone 25. I'm proud to say that our Broward County Board of Commissioners approved the reduction of the fees of the operator model. So the application fee went from $5,150 to $2,500. The activation fee, that's when CBP comes to your site and say, okay, your cameras are in place, your security measures are in place, it's time to be activated. That went from $5,150 to $4,000. For companies that are doing straight warehousing and distribution, that went from $12,360 to $7,000, and then our manufacturing fee went from $30,385 to $9,000 annually. So it's so a full study was conducted and submitted, and I was very happy to lead that research and presentation, and I can now, with our team, offer that service to our area companies. So the timing is impeccable. This is a time for businesses to get involved because the pricing, we've lowered the barrier of entry in other areas as well, but the timing is right because it's more accessible than it ever was before. So ftz25@broward.org, send your inquiries and we will respond.
Thank you, Crystal. Wow.
Thank you, Crystal.
Phenomenal. This is my second time hearing it, but I did not, you hadn't broken it down just for Dayton Beach the way you just did, which I
It's
think
customized, yes,
it
for your
is
city.
customized just for us, which I absolutely love. So I'm going to turn it over and see if my colleagues have any questions about this, but I really, this is a great time for all of us because I think in 2 days, we're getting ready to talk about the direction of the CRA and how to attract businesses and using all of the resources in our proximity to the seaport, the airport, and all of that in our discussion. So I would like this to be part of our discussion coming up. But I just wanted to see if my colleagues had any comments or any questions.
Hey, Crystal.
Hi.
Thank you. I do have a question regarding the foreign trade zone. So I guess for an example, if you own a property, you could register it as a foreign trade zone and then lease it out to other companies, and the companies have to register with the foreign trade zone also, right, to meet their requirements?
Thank you so much for your question. So what you're referring to is a magnet site, and that is something that the Foreign Trade Zone Board did away with about 10 to 15 years ago for the exact reason of not giving one company an advantage over other companies. What they were running into is a lot of businesses that were sitting there vacant, waiting for designation. They do make the exception for companies that are set up directly at an airport or a seaport. You'll see that at Miami International Airport, they have a magnet site because they're directly connected to the airport. So there's certain exceptions, but what they want is they want the business owner to be the designation holder. They will have to provide a right to use letter from the landlord stating that they are okay with them using their site for foreign trade zone designation, but the designation belongs to that owner, that business owner, and the site number is registered to the physical address of the company.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Board Member Ryan. Board Member Vermolling.
Thank you. Crystal, thank you for the great presentation. Question on the import fees, no duty. You mentioned something, I think I heard you say, if that item is imported here to a warehouse, then goes out into Latin America, there's still no duties, no fees on that product. Is that correct?
That is correct. It's as if it never entered the United States.
Perfect. But if it does stay in the United States and sold here, there is a fee then attached to that particular product.
You pay the duties at that time.
Perfect. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Just wanted to clarify that. Thanks.
Okay. So I just want to clarify that you named like the import export, the wholesale, and you had numbers with them. I believe that was 53, 7, and 89. So from our end, you just need our team to make contact with those different industries and then be able to answer those 3 questions and then be able to warmly hand that over to you. And then you guys take it from there and do the whole thing. Is that, I mean, I'm simplifying it more so than you said, but I'm thinking like of next steps. If we were actually going to implement this, then our first step would be to reach out to those different industries from here, from Dania Beach, and letting them know that just this exists and to see if they meet that initial criteria. I just want to be really clear on what like next steps would be as far as that's concerned.
That's exactly it. All you need to know is those 3 questions. This is a very, it's a very heavy program with a very heavy portfolio. The Foreign Trade Zone 25 team at Port Everglades works directly with CBP, so we work in conjunction with one another. So there's a lot of misconceptions. The more circles I sit in and I hear conversation, there's a lot of discrepancies that we would like to answer. And when we inform individuals about it, they're very surprised. So we would actually rather be the one that's customer facing with a client to let them know so they're getting the correct information. You would not believe how often we get the question, do I have to be at Port Everglades? Do you have any vacancy there? So it's those little questions. I heard it's expensive. I heard it's, so it's just, there's a lot of misconceptions. So we would rather work with the client directly because it can be overwhelming. So we are asking that when you are doing your outreach with your businesses, Are you doing import-export? Are you challenged by tariffs or duties? You know, this is the contact information, and then you turn them over to us. Again, you do have the beauty of the marine industry in your city. Every city is very, very different, which is why it's customized for your city. So just letting them know that it's there. Again, there are other foreign trade zone options, but with us, you get quick responses. And that's another thing too. If a company is on the fence, let them know, start the process, because the board approval alone takes about 30 days for warehousing and distribution, 120 days for manufacturing, and then there's the other items involved like software setup and CBP compliance. So by the time, we've had so many companies that we had a meeting with in August, and they needed time to think about it. And then they came running back saying they checked how much duties they paid over the last few months, they could have already started the process. So it's about getting the process started.
Got it. Got it. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Wonderful presentation. Always great to have you back. Thank you for doing an amazing job, as you always do.
Thank you.
All right, then we will move on to the consent agenda. Are there any items the board wishes to pull from the consent agenda? Do I have a motion? Board Member Llewellyn.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Do I have a second? Vice Chair? Okay.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right, the consent agenda passes unanimously. And then we will move on to bids and proposals. We have none. We have no discussion and possible action items, but we do have information items. Did you already do that,
I did.
Executive
It's
Director?
this Saturday, March 14th, the Wine and Seafood Festival from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. here at City Hall, and then also the Jumbo Networker and Business Expo, Wednesday, April 29th, between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. at the Design Center of the Americas.
Thank you, sir. All right, next we have board member comments, and board member, we will start with board member Llewellyn.
Nothing really, just I'm looking forward to the meeting on Thursday. I think that'll be very interesting and informative. And hopefully we can work some things out. And looking forward to the Wine and Seafood Festival this weekend. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, board member Llewellyn. Board member Ramoli.
No comments, thank you.
Thank you, board member Ramoli. Board member Ryan.
I just want to reemphasize, thank you, Crystal, for coming in. It's very important what you're doing, and the fact that you're presenting this to all the cities where it's relevant definitely is making a difference. So thank you once again. Thank you to the board.
Thank you, board member Ryan. Vice Chair.
No comment.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Just want to thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Yvonka. Emily, we look forward to bringing this whole team together. And with that, we will meeting adjourned.